What's up guys, and welcome back to another crypto update video. Today we will take a look at the markets, Bitcoin and also a couple of altcoins. I'm sure you already saw this, a big downward movement today. In Bitcoin we had about 17% in the last 2 days. The altcoins even look worse, and also today total market cap minus almost 15%. We can see almost everywhere double digits in the minus. Some have even the 2 as first number, so it looks very bad. And now we will take a look if this is really that bad and if this will continue. But before we are getting started, the first link in the video description is my Patreon link. There I share all my analysis, my entries, what I bought, every trade and every investment first. So check that out. It is the first link in the video description. And now let's get right into the analysis. Let's start with Bitcoin. In Bitcoin, we had a 17% pullback right here in the last 2 days. In the altcoins it looks even worse. In Ripple, for example, we had a 42% pullback. I think in Stellar this should also look similar. Not that much, but also 37%. Verge, which I covered in the last video, did poorly. This is over 50% in the minus from the peak to the dip. Right now, currently, we are sitting at 45%. So this is not really good looking for Verge. As you can see here, we had one daily close above the first resistance, then jumped above the second resistance, but this got rejected directly, and then we pulled back all the way down under the first resistance, and now we are continuing to going down. So not the best picture in Verge right here, but let's switch again to Bitcoin. So we had a almost 17% loss. Right now we are sitting at almost 14%. And now let me show you what our buyer index is showing us. This, by the way, is a self-developed indicator which is showing us how much buyers are in the market right now. Of course, if there are many buyers in the market, this is not a good sign, and if there are very few buyers, then this is a positive sign. And this is also a long-term indicator. So right now you are seeing that this rally that we had in Bitcoin, so this right here, was this point here in the buyer index. So it went up but not very fast, and now with the last drop, almost all buyers that got in this movement are got kicked back out again. And that is a very positive sign in the long term, because we can see that in every correction lots of buyers are getting kicked out, but the price is just normally correcting, which is a very positive sign in the long term. And right now this is way too early to call this right here, this lowest point, the bottom. Even if we touched it twice, the second time we also got a little bit lower, but then jumped back up quickly. But as I said, this is way too early to call this the bottom, so we have to wait and see right here. But I can tell you from my perspective, with the buyer index, this is just looking like a normal correction, and that the buyer index is right now almost again at its lowest point since March, so since the very big drop that we had, where Bitcoin got to 3.8k. From the buyer index we are a little bit higher right now, but very close to the lows. So as I said, this is a very positive sign, and that gives me the signal that this is just a normal correction. Also, we have to take a look at the fear and greed index. As expected, this was even jumping higher than in my last video. In my last video it was 91, then jumped up to 94. Today we got a 93, so everything in the extreme greed zone. But we are seeing the last update is from last night, so the next update will arrive in 5 hours and 6 minutes while I'm making this video. When you are watching this video, then even earlier. But what I want to say with this is that right now in these 93, the current drop from today isn't included. So most likely the fear and greed index will take a little jump down in the next update. Also, overall, it is not a very positive sign that the fear and greed index is this high. Even if it will jump back to 85 or 80, then it's still very high, which is not a very bullish sign. But as I mentioned in my last video, this could go on for some time till we have a bigger correction. And also with bigger correction, I not mean that the price will go very low again, for example to 10k in Bitcoin. For example, we also could just slowly move down, but in a time window of, for example, 1 month, 2 months, or even more. And then also the confidence, or here the greed, will slowly go down. Also today I saw the very first negative news. I think the headline was "Bitcoin, take your money and run," or something like that. But this is a very positive sign when the media is shifting to the negative articles, because in the last days or weeks we just had these crazy predictions, like for example XRP to $30 to $50 or Bitcoin to 100k, and that is almost everything that we saw in the last weeks. And this is of course also not a very good sign. There are 2 more points that I want to cover in this video. One is back to the buyer index. One more time, you can see the rise here in the amount of buyers that are entering the market. And this is also a very fast rise right here. But as I said, we are kicking out the buyers every time there is a correction, or sometimes just even sideways movement. And when we watch the cycles from before, so for example, end of the last year, right here you can see we were going from here to the peak very fast in, I think, 1.5 months. And this was where the price, let me quickly switch in the daily chart so we can see this. This was here, this little upward movement. In this little upward movement, I will put this in one window so we can see this. So in this little upward movement here, you can see that the buyers are rushing into the market, which was not a good sign. And then of course we got the big drop that we saw from February till March, and then all the buyers got kicked out. And from here, so from the lows till the highs, or till the current price, we are almost still at the same levels as in March. So as I said, long term this looks very good, and that is why I'm thinking that this is just a short correction. But as I also said, this right now is too early to call it the bottom. If there are any updates, of course I will give you an update. First, of course, on my Patreon account. As I said, the link is down in the video description. And now let's go to the last point, which is XRP. And in XRP we saw a 42% decrease in the last 2.5 days. So this is pretty much. But in XRP, we have to include in our analysis that there is an airdrop right in front of us in 16 days. Today is the 26th of November as I'm making this video. So there are 16 more days till the airdrop. So I think this could get Ripple another push, so that Ripple will outperform the other altcoins because of that airdrop. And also when this will happen in XRP, we can also expect this in Stellar, because these two coins are very highly correlated. And that is the last point that I want to show you in this video. Of course, if you have another opinion or if you have questions, feel free to write that down in the comments. Also make sure to subscribe to this channel, because there will follow lots of interesting videos about cryptos, about stocks, about which coins I'm buying, and so on and so on. Also, the updates will always first be on my Patreon, so also check this out. It is the first link in the video description. If this video was helpful, then also leave a like. That's it for this video. See you in the next one. And as always, have a nice day.